Hello and welcome. Today we'll discuss the data handling in statistics. In this video, we'll learn about the data, the definition of data, raw data, arrayed data, tabulation of data and frequency of data, frequency distribution, group frequency distribution, and class interval of the frequency distribution. And in the next video, we'll discuss the graphical representation of data. Now, what is statistics? Statistics is a discipline of collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data or some factual information. At this basic level, we will mainly discuss the organization and presentation of data. How we can define data? Data are the result of observation which occur in an investigation. The set of numerical facts collected with some objective or some purposes are called data. For example, if a teacher collects the marks obtained by the students in a class test, then this is a set of data, and this set of data is collected with some objective or purpose, say to analyze the performance of the students in the class test. Similarly, the runs scored by Virat Kohli in the last 10 T20 matches is another set of data. So from this data set also, one can analyze the performance of the player in the last 10 innings. Let us take another example, that is the birth rate in India per thousand in the last 10 years. So this is another set of data. From 2013 to 2020, the birth rate of India is tabulated or collected like this, and from this data set you can see that rate of birth in India is decreasing from 2013 to 2020, and this data can also be plotted in the form of a graph from which we can get a better idea of the trend of the rate of birth. Similarly, you can also collect or generate some data like say the height of the students in a class or in a school, or weight of the students in a class or in a school, and we can present the data in a systematic form. Tabulation of data. Data can be presented in many different ways. Tabulation is the presentation of data in a tabular form, that is in rows and columns. For example, results of a school during last years in class 10 examination, this can be tabulated this way on the basis of division and year wise we can tabulate the data. So this type of tabulation gives some instant idea about the performance of the school. So what is tabulation? The presentation of data in rows and columns in a systematic form is called tabulation. Now let us understand the frequency of data. So let us consider this set of data, the ages of the players in a cricket team. So this is a set of data. These are the ages of the 12 players of the team. And you can see this 23, 23, 23 and 23. So there are 4 numbers of players whose ages are 23. And if you look at 32, there are 2 numbers of players with the age of 32, and if you see 27, then there are 3 numbers of players with age of the player equal to 27. So this 4 is the frequency of the data 23 or age 23, and 2 is the frequency of data 32 or the age 32, and 3 is the frequency of the age 27. So we can define frequency like this. Frequency is the number of times a particular data or number appears in the given set of data. So this is basically how frequently a number or data appears in the given set of data. Basically, there are two types of data, the raw data and arrayed data. Now, what is the raw data? Raw data is like the raw materials of a processing industry, and arrayed data can be considered as semi-processed product of a processing industry. So, data generated in its original form after the observation or experiment is called the raw data, without any processing or any way of systematic presentation. For example, let us take the number of people infected by COVID-19 in a particular day in 35 districts of a state. So these are the numbers of people infected in a day: 3, 5, 6, 7, 3, 5, 3, 4, etc. From this set of data, we cannot get any information immediately. So now if this set of data is arranged in ascending or descending order, so the number of people infected by COVID-19 in a particular day in 35 districts of states can be rearranged in ascending orders or descending order. So then that type of data is called arrayed data, or simply the array of the set of data. Now if we write in the ascending order, this will be the set of data, and from here you can get that there are 9 districts with number of infection equal to 3, and there are 5 districts with number of infection equal to 4, and so on. So this arrayed data can again be rearranged in a systematic way in a tabular form, and this table will be like this. There will be 2 rows, number of infections 3, and number of districts with 3 numbers of infection cases is 9. Similarly, number of districts with 7 number of infections is 3, and so on. So this table is a way of presenting a data. So from this table, we can get some clear idea about the infection pattern in different districts of the state. Now, this type of presentation of data is called frequency distribution. These numbers, the number of districts 9, 5, 4, these are actually the frequencies of the data. So 5 is the frequency of the data 4, and similarly 2 is the frequency of the data 9. So such a table is called frequency distribution table, or simply a frequency table. Now let us understand the group frequency of distribution. If the number of observations are huge, data can be grouped into a class interval or into a range. For example, marks obtained by 50 students in a class. Now if we consider the whole school, then this number will be huge. Now what we can do, we can group from 40 to 50. We can find the number of students getting the marks between 40 and less than 50. So if we count them, this 45, then 42, say this is 1, 2, then 49, 3, then 47, 4, then again 47, so this is 5. This way we record the data. Then again this is 46, so this is 149, this is another, then again 49, this is another. So in this class or in this range, there are 5 plus 3, 8 students obtaining the marks between 40 and 50. Now if we consider the marks between 50 and 60, then this will be 54, 52, so again 1, 1, 2, then 59, this is 3, again 57, 4, 58, it's become 5, 53, this one, 56, 2, 55, 3, 58 4, again 53 is 5, again 58 is 1, 56 is 2. So there are 5 plus 5 10, this is equal to 12 students. There are 12 students obtaining the marks between 50 and 60. Now in this interval, this is also called the class interval, mark 60 is not included. So 50 is included in this interval. That is why we have not considered this 60 in this interval. Similarly, in this interval, marks 50 is not included. It will be less than 50 and it may be equal to 40 but less than 50. So in this class interval, number of students are 8 and 12. So this way, if we can tally this table and make another table, so the data is arranged and separated into groups called the class intervals. The frequency of data belonging to each class interval is noted in a frequency distribution table. So this is also a frequency distribution table. For this interval, this is frequency is 8, and for this interval frequency is 12, and for 60 to 70 the frequency is 16, and so on. So this is the frequency distribution table for group frequency, because these data are grouped in a particular class or interval. So class limit is another important term in group frequency distribution. The smaller number is lower class limit and the larger number is called the upper class limit. For example, in this 17 to 80, 70 is the lower class limit and 80 is the upper class limit. Another important term is class mark. Class mark is equal to lower class limit plus upper class limit divided by 2. So for the class interval 40 to 50, the class mark will be equal to 40 plus 50 divided by 2, and this is equal to 45. So 45 is the class mark for this class interval. So thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll discuss the graphical presentation, another way of presenting the statistical data.